to the Lawsalooza podcast, a legal comedy podcast where we discuss some of the most ridiculous laws and funny cases around the world while sipping on some adult beverages, all related to the week's theme. My name is Lindsey Reedy.
I'm Shawna.
And I'm Miranda Dews.
And we're all three North Carolina attorneys, bringing you a unique twist on legal cases. But nothing in this podcast should be construed as legal advice. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You also can follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Lawsalooza Podcast. Have a law or a case suggestion, or just want to send us a note? You can reach us at lawsaloozapodcast@gmail.com. Now for our second episode, with the theme this week being murder.
Yes, so this week's theme is murder. So we're going to hear about the time that pregnant women were almost able to murder whoever they wanted.
And our case this week comes straight out of Florida and involves a little mystery.
Of course, it's from Florida.
Yeah, just fits. So, our drink today is called Red Death. And it has various types of liquor in it that I cannot even begin to name, including triple sec, berry, brandy, and sloe gin, and Southern Comfort, and I believe there was one other one, vodka.
Of course, vodka.
And orange juice, and a little bit of pineapple juice. So, cheers.
Cheers.
It's not bad.
It's
not
very
bad.
strong.
Fruity.
It is very strong. Very fruity.
We'll link the recipe in our show notes.
Yeah, this is a good one for a beach where you have absolutely nothing to do that day.
Exactly. And it does kind of oddly fit with murder, so.
This is a good drink before you get murdered? Like, what do you mean, Miranda?
Or before you murder someone.
Before you murder someone. I don't know. I don't know if this isn't legal advice, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
disclaimer. See the disclaimer at the beginning of the show.
Can't spell manslaughter without laughter.
Oh my god!
Literally, spell it out. I was the runner-up in the statewide spelling bee in middle school, so.
That's incredible.
Was your word manslaughter?
It was the word that I got out on was emphysema, which I have intentionally not learned how to spell to this very day. Out of
Seems
principle.
appropriate.
Yeah, out of principle. So, anyways, a little bitter about that. We're fine. All right, guys. So our law for today was actually a law that almost was, very briefly was, until someone read it again and realized there was a really small typo that would have led to some pretty absurd results. So, of course, we're talking about New Hampshire Senate Bill 66. This is from the year 2017, so if you want to look it up, it's the 2017 Senate Bill 66, which was nicknamed the fetal homicide bill. So the intention behind the bill was to punish people who killed a pregnant woman, so they could be punished for the death of the unborn and also the woman. But they were trying to cut out an exception for any women or doctors, in the case of abortion or a miscarriage or something like that, to not have that be punished. But the language in the bill actually read like this, and I'm going to read it to you directly from the bill. It said that these acts would not be punished, would not be subject to any kind of penalty whatsoever. And this is what the line said. Any act committed by the pregnant woman would be legal, even in cases of second-degree murder, manslaughter, negligent homicide, or aiding and suicide. And then that was Section A, and Section B said, or any person acting at the direction of a pregnant woman would not be liable for any of those crimes.
So you could have a pregnant woman go murder your husband?
Exactly. Or hire a hitman, presumably, to murder someone. And I suppose neither one of them would be punished. So
Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So that's actually what the line read. And this passed through the Senate in New Hampshire. It passed. And for a full week, it had been passed. And nobody noticed this error at all. Until I suppose I think it was one of the Republican state senators looked at it again, and he was like, this is a little bit vague. I can see how this could be interpreted to allow pregnant women to murder with impunity. So, someone pisses you off, murder. Totally fine. Nothing wrong there. Husband, irritates you, doesn't get you, ice cream or whatever you're craving, murder, totally fine.
I don't know. It feels like a legitimate law. I mean, I can get on board with that. I don't know.
So, because in New Hampshire, the state senators became kind of nervous, like, oh crap, we passed this law, so now we're just going to have hordes of angry pregnant women just knocking off people, whatever. So they're like, well, we've got to change this. Like, we absolutely cannot live in this lawless society where pregnant women can just do whatever they want and just totally get away with it. So then they had to go back and change it, and then I suppose vote on it again and get it passed again. Because the state senators, when they were having the hearing on it, they were like, this was again a direct line from the Senate floor. They said, we need to stop pregnant women from being able to murder whoever they want. So
seems like a good argument to get a new law in place.
Right. So they were like, the intent was not for pregnant women to just kill people at will. And they needed to make sure pregnant women just don't go around killing people, whoever they want, whenever they want. But can you imagine that in court? Like, someone gets arrested for murder and they just show up and they're like obviously pregnant, and the judge is like, whoa, pregnant, no, dismissed. Not guilty, get out. I think that New Hampshire did have some other legislation in place that would not allow an absurd result, so it probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere had it stayed in place with that language. But it's just funny to think that, like, a bunch of pregnant women in New Hampshire could just, do whatever they want, or hire people to do whatever they want, and there's absolutely no consequences.
Well, and how that got through the Senate, and no one noticed.
Oh, well, yeah, because that's literally how it was worded. Any act committed by a pregnant woman would not be punished.
They were definitely not thinking that through.
They were,
or the bill was written by a woman.
Or they were
just about to be pregnant.
Crafty argument.
Or they were having that drink.
This drink with all this liquor.
Which, that's probably the more. That makes a lot more sense. It's like, let's just drink this and make laws.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Goes to the creative side of things,
Well, that is definitely a funny law. It was a little harder to find a funny murder case, but I do think I have one for you.
Okay.
So this case comes out of Miami, Florida on December 6, 1983. There were two joggers out for an early morning jog. Nope, actually they were at a late evening jog. And they were jogging along, and they come down and they see this parking lot, and they come across a lifeless man in the parking lot, and they approach just thinking he's sleeping, homeless, trying to figure out what's going on, and they soon realize that no, he's definitely lifeless and dead. So they call the local authorities in, and they come in and they start searching the scene and trying to figure out what's going on, and a huge rainstorm comes in and halts the search, and the officers go back and start doing some behind-the-scenes work, and crime scene techs come out the following morning and begin searching more thoroughly, trying to figure out who is this dead man, what happened, why is he lying in this parking lot. And a crime scene tech came across this dumpster, and taped behind the dumpster, right above a no dumping sign, ironically, is a bag with a little note inside, and it's taped to the back of the dumpster.
Oh, no.
So they open this bag and instantly see that it's a clue. And they're like, a clue? So they read it, and I'm going to read it verbatim to you guys here. It says, "Once you're back on the track, you'll travel in night. So prepare your old self for a terrible fright. Now the motive is clear, and the victim is too. You've got all the answers. Just follow the clues."
This sounds like something from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Can you guys figure out that clue?
No.
Where would it lead you? Any ideas?
No.
Well, Sergeant David Miller began working the clue because they thought immediately, like, it's behind the dumpster where this body is found. Somebody's taunting them. What could be going on? Well, within the hour, he cracked the clue and figured out that it led to a speed limit sign nearby.
What?
I guess the part about being back on track, you'll travel at night. Anyway.
Is this real? This
is absolutely
from, like, the
real.
Batman, like
Absolutely
the Riddler.
real. So it led him to the speed limit sign, and on the back of that speed limit sign was the second clue.
What?
This person has to be so sick to be like, yeah, let me do a murder. Let me murder someone, and then we're gonna make it into a treasure hunt.
No, I'm for real, like, this is like the plot of the Batman. Like, what?
Well, he finds the second clue, and the second clue reads, yes, Matthew is dead, but his body not felt.
What?
Those brains were not Matt's, but his body did melt. For Billy threw Matt in some hot, boiling oil. To confuse the police for the mystery, they did not toil.
What the heck?
That's a lot to unpack. I don't even know where to begin on that one.
Yeah, I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable.
Well, Sergeant Miller also was uncomfortable and could not figure out the clue. He was frustrated. He was feeling defeated. He had been working this clue, trying to figure out how it led to the murderer, the identity of this body. And he finally reached out to the Sunday Miami Herald to run an article on the case, because he's like, maybe somebody knows what's going on here. And the Miami Herald, they dubbed this the Liquid Matthew case.
Wait, why?
Based on the reference to hot boiling oil.
Ew, I don't like that at all. I don't like this. Makes me very uncomfortable.
I got my skin's crawling. That's
what they called it in the media?
Yes.
Liquid Matt. That's the best name they could come up with.
Liquid Matthew. I am going to link the article in our show notes.
Oh,
I found the actual article and pictures of the crime scene and everything.
To be fair,
that I will link.
It's pretty unforgettable. You know, like, I mean, it's an easy name to remember.
I mean, it sounds like they just, like, you know, what's it called when they, you know, evaporate your body and that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, are you talking about, like, the acid?
Yeah. That's that's, like, all I
That makes me
picture
think
now.
of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I never saw that.
Yeah, I haven't
Oh
seen
my
that
god.
either.
Girls' Night. It's my favorite movie.
For real?
I love that
Of all
movie.
the movies in the world, that's your favorite.
Well, I really, really like it. I wanted to be Jessica Rabbit. I thought she was really hot.
Everybody. Everybody wants to be her.
See, you know who she is. It's a good movie. It's got cartoons and really
Yeah, she's like the Kardashian of the cartoon
I wasn't
world.
allowed to watch it when I was a kid. My mom just always rated Milo and Otis for me to watch because it was not at all risque. But then when I was an adult, I found out that, like, all the kittens died when they saw the movie, and now I'm just sad when I think about it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
So I can't watch that movie anymore.
Oh,
It just makes
well.
me really sad. But it fits the murder theme, so there we go.
We'll definitely watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
But anyways, so they run this article in the Sunday Miami Herald, and the tips start rolling in.
Really? That many people?
Yes. And in fact, one tipster wrote it or called in to confess.
What?
He confessed that he, along with members of 4 other churches, had staged a murder mystery scavenger hunt near Halloween almost 2 months prior to the murder, before the body was found. And due to bad weather on the night of the scavenger hunt, they had accidentally left the notes behind.
What? So the police are following, like, a youth group
church?
scavenger hunt?
Yes,
And
it had
I thought they were solving a murder.
absolutely nothing to do with the murder at all.
Oh,
My
that
gosh.
is kind of
What?
hilarious.
Right? Nothing to do with the murder at all.
Horrible.
But they had
my
spent all these
gosh.
times on these clues trying to figure it out. It was soon discovered that the victim was a Francisco Patino Gutierrez, sorry. Gutierrez. Terrible with names. The victim had actually come to Miami on a ship. He was packing 11 pounds of cocaine. That cocaine ended up being confiscated when the ship was raided by police. That mistake of the cocaine being confiscated angered some people enough to strangle him and leave his body behind in a parking lot. Just happened to be near the church youth group clues.
Oh my gosh.
The police believe that it was actually Colombian cartel that murdered the man.
That checks out.
Guys, can you imagine if it had rained and the youth group finds
Stumbled
this dead
across a
body?
Well,
like-
the youth group thing was near Halloween.
Yeah, but when did
2 months earlier.
Oh,
the body
so
was found in
the church
December.
never came to pull down their clues?
No. They just
They
left
thought
them
that
out.
was a great idea. Like,
Let's just. But also too, it sounds like these clues weren't anywhere near each other. Like.
Well, in the picture, and I'll post, you will
Yeah.
see where the parking lot is, and it was kind of like there's a dumpster, and then just right down the corner was the stop sign.
I still feel like, why in the world, like, these would have been, like, preteens or
Yeah.
whatever. What?
Yeah, it didn't
What?
say how old the
And
youth
this is,
group
like,
was.
what, Miami?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I would not let my children just prowl the streets of Miami on a
Halloween night.
Halloween night.
Murder
youth
mystery?
Murder. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So kind of the best funny murder case I could find, since murder's not exactly...
you did a
Hilarious.
great job. That's crazy.
But I thought it was kind of funny, because who would have thought the officers are out searching these clues, trying to really figure
And they're
out...
just solving a youth group mystery.
And they couldn't figure out the second clue.
All those resources.
Well,
Can you
did
imagine?
the youth pastor tell them what the second clue was supposed to lead
Oh,
to?
there was no mention of that.
Was this something, like, biblical?
Well, it referenced Matthew.
But then who's
There's
Billy?
something about
I feel like there's not a Billy in the Bible.
And I don't know if they put people in hot boiling oil. But,
yeah. I don't remember.
Well, you
that.
anointed people with oil.
But it's
Yeah,
not
but you
hot
don't
boiling.
I don't remember that being in the Bible.
I'm going to actually link the article that the detectives posted in the Sunday Miami Herald, so people can read it on their own and see what brought the youth group to...
Did they investigate the youth group member or the leader who confessed for the murder?
No.
Maybe
no.
it wasn't the Colombian cartel. Maybe it was part of this, and he was just like, "Oh crap, they got me, youth group murder mystery."
Yeah.
Well, I think they
This
had
is for the
people from
kids.
4 different churches
Because
call
it had
in.
been out there for 2 months, and like you're trying to tell me like no one is a speed limit
Went
sign, like no
down.
one took it down. Like I'm sorry, I feel like that's not believable.
It didn't come down in the weather.
exactly.
Like,
It was inclement
Yeah, that
weather.
was kind of surprising.
That's really
I don't know.
sus.
did we just reopen a case?
Maybe we did. Cold case. Did they ever find who murdered that Mr.
It never
Gutierrez?
referenced anyone that was found guilty of murdering him, so I guess it's still kind of an open case.
So they literally were just like, oh, it must be the Colombian cartel.
It's Miami, and it was cocaine.
Yeah, well, I feel like, there's probably other murders in Miami that aren't the cartel.
Yeah.
Are we now researching?
I think
I don't
we
know.
just
I feel like this
I
is
think
like
we
a-
just solved this mystery. I think it was
The youth pastor.
the guy who confessed. He
It
confessed.
was the youth pastor.
So now we are blaming the poor little youth pastor who was just trying to
No,
host a
no.
murder mystery.
Isn't until
The perfect alibi, though, because you're like, oh my goodness, these notes that I wrote, they're now in the media. What can I do? Oh, I have a brilliant idea. It's a youth, like a youth ministry thing.
And you just have like the little old ladies of the church call in to back up your story.
Oh,
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
because nobody would suspect that. No one would. You get it, and he did. He got off scot-free.
I also thought it was kind of funny that the first note was literally by the no dumping sign, and that's where the body was dumped.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like too coincidental.
It fits.
coincidental.
But also, like, these runners, can you imagine just, like, going out for, like, a little bit of exercise and you're just, like, haven't run in a while, I'm just going to do something good for my body, and then you come across, like, a corpse?
Yeah.
Just laying in the parking lot.
It's
I
like
mean-
you finally convince yourself to go on that run, and then that happens. I would probably be like, "Yep, this is my excuse to never exercise again."
It's a pretty good excuse to never exercise
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I agree.
Not often you come across a dead body.
How long do you
So,
think it would have taken you to figure out those clues?
I don't know if I would have figured.
I
that
don't
out.
know that I would have either, because there's no way that I would have guessed speed limit sign for that first
Yeah.
one.
Once you're back on the track, you'll travel at night. So prepare your old self for a terrible fright. Now the motive is clear and the victim is too. You've got all the answers. Just follow the clues. I would like to know what the other clues were in the whole.
Well, I guess the police didn't find them because they couldn't figure out the second one, which I don't blame them because I couldn't either. There's no way. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying that these clues were murder mystery. I am 100%.
It's
Yeah,
the youth
it's the
pastor.
murderer. Yeah, for sure. Because, first of all, how would he know? Like, there was a crime, a terrible fright. Yeah, you find the corpse in a parking lot. That's very frightening. The motive is clear. Okay, I guess the 11 pounds of cocaine. The victim is clear because he's, like, literally right there. And then the next clue is talking about a dude being dead.
Yeah, Matthew is dead, but his body not felt. I'm not sure what that means.
Because they evaporated him in that wheel stuff.
These
they
brains
find
were not
anything weird
masked,
with the
but
body?
his body
Yeah,
did
what
melt.
was anything?
Maybe
How was he killed? Oh, wait,
It
he was
was
strangled.
Yeah, it said he was strangled and left behind in the parking lot.
Maybe it was the pastor's
No, there's
intent
no way
to-
it was the cartel. Because I don't believe the cartel would be that sloppy. They would not leave a body behind.
Or they
Wouldn't
would
they
just
just dump?
shoot you,
Wasn't he in a
right?
shipyard? Wouldn't they just dump him in the water?
Yeah, it wasn't a shipyard that he was found in. It was just a parking lot.
Oh, just
but
right in the parking lot. Well, it's Miami, though. Isn't it on the water?
it's like very near the water.
I've never been to Miami.
Me either. It's way down in Florida.
Well, I know it's in Florida, Shawna.
I would think the cartel would shoot you too.
I think they would
were,
shoot you
up
and like
close
dump your
personal.
body somewhere. I'm not buying it. The cartel would not leave a body in a parking lot.
I don't know. It feels like that's personal though, because like that takes a lot of effort to strangle someone.
Yeah.
So like
That's why I
feel
don't
like
think it was the
that's-
cartel.
Yeah.
They're just gonna shoot you and be done with you.
Because that's business.
Also, like, is it his fault the 11 pounds of cocaine got seized by
That's
the cops?
what I was wondering. Like, he was on a ship, and I'm assuming he wasn't on the ship. They said ship, so not like a little tiny boat, but ship with other people. So why is he the one that's being targeted for the 11 pounds of cocaine being confiscated?
Right.
You would think.
Unless they were on him. But I feel like you wouldn't put 11 pounds of cocaine on yourself.
Not when
No.
you're on the boat and we're not off yet, trying to get it off. I don't know.
Just doesn't add up.
This is very suspicious.
Yeah. And I just think it's funny that of all the things they could have gone with, the article's title was Liquid Matthew.
That's just gross. I don't feel good about that. I just don't. So, wait, but they never attempted to discover the identity of the victim prior to that? To see if he even was a Matthew?
So some of my sources differed. Some said that they figured out his identity and thought there could have been additional victims, and then some sources made it seem like they didn't figure out his identity until they had already run the article. So some of the sources differed a little bit on that respect.
Like, trustworthy is the Miami Herald? I guess they're pretty trustworthy. I don't know.
I don't know.
To see, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if they knew his name. And they still called him Liquid Matthew. I don't know, that's gross. I don't
Yeah,
like that.
they were,
That doesn't
I guess
sit
it was
well.
just based on the clue, and that's what they were focusing on was that clue, because they really thought that the clue was going to crack the case for them.
It also
Well-
draws readers in too. Like, can you imagine seeing Liquid Matthew? The
I
case
mean,
of
we're
Liquid
still talking
Matthew?
about
Yeah.
it, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. But I feel like there definitely probably were other victims. And whoever this little tipster guy is, this youth pastor guy, whatever, should maybe be investigated.
Maybe we should look into him and see if he's been involved with anything else.
Do a background check.
We can. We have access to that.
We do.
What's his name?
I have to look. I don't remember.
It didn't say. Ooh. It just gets twistier.
Maybe he is a confidential informant.
Ooh, yeah, he could be. Then they wouldn't say his name.
No, he'd have a code name.
Mm-hmm.
Very
The
interesting.
plot thickens. Like, it's
The
just,
plot thickens.
Yes. Remember to follow and like us on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and send us a message.
one final cheers.
To episode 2.
Cheers.
And Liquid Matthew.
And Liquid Matthew.
Now I know how to drink
some
this.
are hard to drink this.
No, let's cheers to anonymous tipsters.
Cheers.
Oh.
That face was great.